What impact does your statistical place in the NBA have on you?
Well, that never drove me. You know what I mean? The stats only add up when you put forth the effort and you don't worry about it. You know, good things happen to those people that work hard. If I sit here and play for the stats, I would have never retired in '93. Or I still probably be chasing Wilt Chamberlain's all-time, you know, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time scoring lead. I mean, that doesn't drive me. I mean, sure, I mean, it defines to some extent for people who don't know me or, you know, 20 years from now would never know who Michael Jordan really is. But based on the stats, he must have been pretty decent. You know, those are only ways that I look at stats. Other than that, you know, it's all about winning championships and winning. You know, stats that matter to me is the games that we win and the rings that you collect.
LeBron James currently is less than 2,000 points away from passing Kareem on the NBA's all-time scoring list. When LeBron does this will be an amazing feat and a record he breaks that hasn't been touched in 30 years. Now, with that being said, when LeBron does break this record, the usual suspects will come out and claim this finally makes him the GOAT and the greatest player in NBA history. People like Shannon Sharpe, Kendrick Perkins, Colin Cowherd, and of course, Nick Wright. And I do find it pretty comical. They're going to claim this feat for LeBron is the exclamation point on his GOAT case. When for the past 10 years, when Kareem had this record, had more MVPs, more championships, nobody in the media, especially LeBron fans, called Kareem the greatest player of all time. And I think why that is because most NBA fans know, while longevity is great, it is amazing, it's only an aspect of being the greatest player in NBA history. And quite frankly, having great longevity and good stats doesn't paint an accurate picture of how good you were in your prime and how great you were as an individual player. For example, John Stockton is the NBA's all-time leader in assists and has more points, steals, assists, and threes made than Magic Johnson, the truly greatest point guard of all time. And looking at Stockton's teammate, you have Karl Malone, who has more points than Jordan and Kobe on a higher field goal percentage. And compared to Jordan, he has more points, more boards, more blocks, as well as field goals made. Once again, showing you guys longevity, it is amazing, but it's only one aspect of a great player. I could go on for days and days and days comparing players and showing why longevity is overrated. Someone like Carmelo has more points than Tim Duncan, and someone like James Harden already has more points than D. Wade. My big problem with the longevity argument, and specifically LeBron James fans, they only apply these arguments to LeBron versus Jordan and not any other player. And if you want to throw accolades in the mix, compare someone like Larry Bird versus Dwayne Wade. Two players who at their peak were MVP caliber players and won multiple championships. But D. Wade compared to Larry Bird has more total points, more assists, more steals, as well as blocks. And Larry Bird all-time isn't even top 40 in all-time scoring. That right there is a simple fact. And even with that being said, Larry Bird universally is recognized as a top 10 player, and rightfully so, because at his peak and in his prime, he racked up tons of accolades, had great numbers, and won 3 championships. Once again proving, a player's peak and their prime is more valuable than overall longevity. And speaking of your apex and your prime, for most NBA fans, it's a 3 to 5 year time period. And comparing Jordan versus LeBron, it becomes very easy, very fast, to see which player was the best at their best. As comparing both Jordan and LeBron from 2012 to 2016, and Jordan from 89-93, Jordan leads him in points, assists, steals, field goal percentage, threes, and free throw percentage. And if you want to go one step further, looking past the stats, comparing both Jordan and LeBron at their peak, Jordan was the better scorer, the better defender, faced tougher competition, was better in the finals, more efficient, and had way better advanced stats. I'm not even going to go to accolades or championships or any of that stuff. Just looking at overall skill and talent, and how they played on the basketball court as an individual, prime Michael Jordan is definitively better than prime LeBron James.
He ain't lying.
And for the 10th time in this video, if you want to see which player was better, you don't look at a 15-year time period, you zero in and look at their absolute peak. And one argument I have seen from a lot of LeBron James fans is that he deserves extra credit and even an extra championship for passing Kareem in all-time scoring.
Showing up at the Drew League had me thinking about one thing. Just how bananas the coverage is going to be when James eventually passes Kareem. Because LeBron breaking that record will be bigger than any ring.
Oh, wow.
I hope most NBA fans find that take to be absurd and ludicrous, because quite frankly, it is. The record is very, very impressive, don't get me wrong, but winning 1 championship, 2, even 3, is still 10 times more impressive and important for a player's legacy. And speaking of championships, looking at someone like Nick Wright, he's gone to the absurd in the past year, saying LeBron James already has 6 rings, as 2016 counts as 2, and 2020 also as 2. That is how crazy LeBron James fans are, and how twisted their logic can be. And going into 2023, once again Nick Wright is claiming if LeBron passes Kareem and wins a championship, he'll be the greatest player in NBA history. My overall point for this video is pretty simple. If you have to go to extreme lengths to argue one player is the best, and twist logic, contort things, that player most likely is not the best. As looking at Jordan, I can argue he's the best on simple logic and simply looking at his resume. He doesn't need extra credit, embellishment, he doesn't need me to lie or bend any type of truth. I'm warning you guys right now, when LeBron passes Kareem, the GOAT debate is going to be kicked in to high gear, and we're going to see some awful takes from the usual suspects. And one more point I do want to make, looking at individual records, they're fine, they're flashy, and they're great for a player's resume. And looking at someone like Oscar Robertson, back in 1974, he tallied his 181st triple-double, the most in NBA history. That record stood for a solid 47 years until Westbrook came along and broke it in 2022. Did anyone at that point argue Westbrook should get extra credit or a championship for breaking that record? I would hope not, and I highly doubt anyone did. So again I ask, why is LeBron James going to get extra credit for breaking a record that stood for 33 years? The bottom line is these people are so desperate and so hungry for LeBron to pass Jordan, they will quite literally do anything and ignore history as well as precedent. And like I've said many times, when it comes to Lakers, this year they will be improved, but they're not a championship caliber team. So with that being the case, LeBron James, at this point, has one singular goal, and that is racking up points and passing Kareem. We saw it last year, age 37, and really, I had no problem with it. I just want LeBron fans, LeBron media members, to be honest and admit the goalposts have definitely moved. As back in 2016, even 2020, all LeBron fans were saying and arguing he was going to catch Jordan and get 6 championships. Fast forward to present day, the Lakers haven't won a playoff series in 2 years, and that argument has been tossed out the window. And once again, I do find it comical, someone like Kareem had this record for over 30 years, had more MVPs, more championships, and nobody argued he was better than LeBron. If I had to sum it up very quickly, what happened? LeBron James got old, he paired up with Westbrook, and his championship window collapsed and fell. At this point in time, he has absolutely zero chance of getting 6 championships and eclipsing Michael Jordan. And speaking of Jordan, when he played for the Wizards, he didn't come back for the stats or even the money. He came back to prove to himself he could play at age 40, something he did pretty effectively. And like you saw in that intro, even in Jordan's older years, he still valued winning over stats and understood championships were the gold standard and breaking records didn't matter if you weren't winning. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.